All right, so it's demo time, and we're going to have Phil and Travis make a trade for real this time. So I'm going to turn this dog and pony show over to Phil and Travis, and so guys, take it away.
All right, let's see here. So I'll share my screen real quick.
Yeah. Why don't you share and I'll create the order and you fill it?
Great, that works.
And I would recommend opening your console so that they can see all the action there.
Hey guys, is that a real trading UI?
That is the real trading UI starting to come to life.
Yeah, so just to show you guys, I mean, this, you guys saw just the design earlier in the call, and this is the implementation of that design, which is definitely coming along. You can click over to position and fills. You can create buy and sell orders. You can deposit collateral and see balances. So we're working on kind of all those pieces in parallel to get this thing to what the mock that you saw and didn't present earlier. All right, so Travis is going to go ahead and create an order, and I'm going to fill it just to show you a little bit of what this actually looks like. Back end. Let's see here. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this on my laptop, actually. Might be too big. All right, well, Travis, why don't you just create the order? We don't even need to, we can just paste the JSON blob into the chat versus doing that.
Okay. So I am going to create a buy order for 1 Bitcoin, and I am willing to pay 6,779 US dollars or USDT for my 1 Bitcoin. And I am going to create, maybe I should share my screen for this moment so they can at least see the whole process, and then we'll swap the screen over while you fill it.
That sounds great, yeah. Let me see, I'll stop my sharing, go ahead.
Okay. Let's see, share screen. And I'm going to share that one. Okay, can you guys see my trade screen? Or the exchange?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, great. So you can actually see here that we are pulling some of these widgets, even though the data is not being displayed. The data is already being pulled in. We're just waiting for the style. So you can actually see here that this was the original, the very first trade that we did to test this. And this was the positions that we have and the fills that we've made. So this isn't actually the first test, but it is the first live demo of a trade on the Ethereum network. So pretty cool. So we're going to create a buy order here with an expiration of roughly 30 days for 1 Bitcoin at 6,779, which is about $100 less than current spot price, according to Preve. So you're going to see that it's asking to buy 1. There's some UI bugs here, definitely, so ignore those, but we are looking at the logic at the moment. So it's going to ask me to sign and validate that I'm going to pay for this. So, and it's going to give me back a signed order JSON blob here in my console. And you can actually, so we're developing a way that you can actually share this with others and make it easy for them to fill your order without having to come to an actual exchange. You can have, you can share your trade via Twitter, and somebody could just fill it right from Twitter versus something having to find it inside of an actual exchange. There's many ways that this could be used. But for now, we're going to take this and I'm going to paste it into Phil. And I have lost the chat here. That's weird. Give me just a second. Zoom is, let me stop my share because there's nothing else for me. I have chat back now. So I'm now gonna paste that JSON blob into chat. And so any of you could actually go to the D app if you had access and fill this for us. The taker is set to the Ethereum null address. which tells us that anyone can fill it. So now Phil can take that JSON blob and go into our temporary demo fill order box that we've created.
That's going to get dangerous.
All right. So just to show you this, so I'm basically just taking that JSON blob that Travis posted. I'm going to submit that here, and that will, hopefully you guys can see this, but basically it just asks me for confirmation from Rinkeby for MetaMask, and make sure it's going to confirm that transaction, and that order will be filled. Let's see here. Travis, I'm going to have to show in my console, right, for that to actually be.
Yeah, that's where the transaction order info will be displayed. And then you'll be able to get the transaction ID. There you go. So you can get that if you cut and paste that transaction hash there, you could just go to your.
Cool. So you just saw it got confirmed. I don't know if you guys saw that as well. And also the same thing here, which is we can go and check out that transaction. So we can see that it was successful. The trade occurred. And with that, me and Travis are now entered into a position. So it's not quite there yet, but if we were to refresh this screen, which I guess I can do, this should work, right, Travis, or not quite yet?
You shouldn't need to, well, you can refresh it. But yeah, no, it'll definitely work. You could just change contracts. It's faster to just select a contract and go back to the same contract. But yeah, that works just as well.
Hey, I want to see Phil's.
So when this is completed, a user would be able to just submit an order to an order book. So you would basically create that order, just as you saw Travis do, and that would allow that to be propagated to an order book, and then another user would be able to fill it. So it wouldn't be pasting in a chat, but it's just an example of how that actually works with that. So go to this contract explorer, which needs to be cleaned up. We go back to that contract.
And so now if you open up your console, and if you, if you go, just squeeze that console down a little bit if you can, so it fixes the responsiveness in the UI.
Let's try here. It's a little tight on my laptop.
You can just make it pretty small. It doesn't need to be, there you go, that's perfect. And if you just click the positions tab now, you shouldn't, there you go. You should see that there's some positions that get returned.
Awesome. So yeah, so these are positions that I have now, which shows that I'm short. Again, it's really hard on my laptop here. But anyways, we can see that the trade went through, and now our positions are recorded on the blockchain. Collateral was withdrawn from my trading account and is now locked into that smart contract based on the positions that I have. If Travis and I were to exit those, that collateral would be refunded back to my account in that contract and able to be withdrawn. So that's the first successful trade with a live audience.
Woohoo!
I think I got the better end of that deal.
Yeah, for sure. We'll find out.
Yeah. Shorting Bitcoin right now, not so smart, Phil.
Maybe you're right.
So can Phil or Travis, can somebody kind of walk everyone through, because you know there was a lot of copy and pasting numbers and everything. So kind of like soup to nuts, exactly what happened there. So obviously there was a contract that was created previously by somebody, and then how the funds moved from one wallet to another, and then what your position is locked in, and then explain what happens when you exit that, just real quick for anybody who's on the call who might not be as familiar with the project as everybody else.
Sure. So a contract has been deployed. That is essentially this contract that we selected here, deployed earlier, that is using the price of Bitcoin versus Tether on Binance. So Tether is just a US dollar stablecoin. And so we're going to use the price of Binance to eventually settle this contract in the future. Travis created an order, and when he did that, he signed that order. So that's an off-chain transaction where he's simply using his private key to sign that order, that we know that therefore it's valid and it hasn't been manipulated. When that he created that thing that was the JSON blob that was posted into that chat, basically that is just the structure of an order that's been signed and it contains a signature, I'm able to take that, copy that, and that part again would be abstracted by an order book in the future, but I'm able to paste that in, create that order, a signed order from Travis, and I'm able to call trade order on that which allows that order to be filled. And what that means is that Travis and I have basically matched our desires to trade, and our collateral has moved from the smart contract that it's deposited in a way that's originally able to be withdrawn to a place where it's locked. So that trade is always collateralized. So there's no risk of a margin call or counterparty risk or forced liquidation. We know that the contract's solvent. And upon me and Travis exiting, that collateral would be returned to us plus or minus our profit and loss. So since I'm short, if the price of Bitcoin goes down and I exit that position later, Travis decides he needs to get out of that position and sells back to me at a loss. At that point, I would make money and Travis would lose money, and that collateral would be returned to us. So that's more or less the trade life cycle on there. If we weren't going to exit the position, we would wait to this contract to expire, which was happening in 17 days from now. And in 17 days from now, an Oracle solution, right now this is hooked up to Oracleize it, but in the future would be Chainlink or other Oracle providers, would give us that data back, and then that contract would expire and settle to the price of Bitcoin on Binance. And that would allow us to then settle the contract, meaning that same thing, if the price went down, I would make money and Travis would lose money. And so our remaining collateral will be returned to us plus or minus a profit and loss, depending on which side was the winner in the trade.
Thanks.
Great job, guys. I really appreciate you going through that. I think it was, so Phil's short, right? Travis is long. That's all we need to remember at this moment. And we have a record of the trade, by the way. So we'll see how this turns out.